Psychotherapist Jonathan Alpert is addressing the matter with this headline: When Rationalization Turns Deadly. He's on set with me. You and I like to go deep on these topics. Look, I don't think it's overplaying it to say that therapists like yourself are on the front lines of this because you're seeing so much of it in your practice. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we are on the front lines, but my profession is also part of the problem. We have therapists who are advising people, if you don't like how someone voted, if they voted for Trump, just cut them out. We have therapists who I know who refuse to treat someone if they voted for Trump. So my profession is part of the problem here.
Wait a minute, but they have licensing boards. How can somebody say, well, I can't treat you because you voted a certain way? Maybe it has nothing to do with politics. Maybe they're in like a divorce situation. How does that play out?
Well, wouldn't it be nice if we could get back to what we were supposed to do, and that's help people with depression and anxiety? And this problem really stems from academic institutions and training programs.
Look, I know that we are in a position right now, and we're seeing some of Gallup is doing a study. I think we ought to just do as many studies as we can to figure out where people really are on violence. But like a quarter of people surveyed in the Gallup, where their intake of social media seemed to go along with their acceptance of violence to settle a dispute with somebody you don't agree with.
That's true, and I also saw a study where almost a third of people surveyed thought it was okay to commit violent acts. And part of the problem here is we have media, mainstream media, that puts messages out there that Trump is evil, he's bad for the country. And most people can process that and just move on. But if it gets into the head of the wrong person, we see things like what happened on Saturday.
Yeah. So what happens when this comes up in therapy? Because we were talking off camera. You've got patients that you're concerned about.
Yeah, and it does come up quite often. I would say at least half my patient load expresses concerns about Trump. And what I do as a therapist is challenge their thinking and hopefully guide them to a place where they don't feel these irrational thoughts anymore, and they can change their behavior and thoughts.
I want to bring everybody's attention to the screen. We are scrolling right now, politically motivated violence since about 2022. So as you see this, there's a lot out there, and you see September 10th, 2025, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Are we in an assassination culture?
Unfortunately, we are, and we have people that we're supposed to trust, whether it's teachers, healthcare workers, who are just so freely going online and putting out there their thoughts, their hatred towards political figures. And that just creates a culture where it almost makes it okay to think such evil thoughts.
Look, Therapy Nation is the book that you've written about this, and I believe you mentioned a nurse in one point where these are the people that we trust. These are the people that we listen to. So we're vulnerable when he was tutoring people. Cole Allen, who was the suspected would-be assassin on Saturday night at the dinner.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, I think people need to really be careful about who they're hiring as a healthcare provider.
What do we look for, though? They have good resumes. They went to good schools. He was at Caltech.
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not biased or putting crazy rhetoric out there. So social media is a good place to look. If you see that they're putting things out there, you may want to stay away.
Jonathan, it sounds like we have to do a bigger deep when we have people around us.
Lots to talk about, Harris.
Yeah. Jonathan Alpert.
Thank you.
Great. Congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Likewise. Thank you.
Thank you.